Hey everybody, Danny here with Danny Murphy & Associates at First Team Real Estate. We're here doing our Thursday real estate market update for Orange County and Southern California. Today we're going to talk a little bit of a topic on what are contingencies. That's a question that comes up a lot with both buyers and sellers. And so, I think the key takeaway with that is that's the ability in the contract for buyers and sellers to ensure that certain things happen during an escrow. And if they don't happen, they can either cancel and move on to another buyer or another property if you're a seller, another buyer if you're a seller, or you can, enforce certain activities in the contract. And so a lot of the main contingencies that you see are going to be inspections, and within the inspection contingencies, there's lots of other contingencies where it's like inspection, termite, you can do electrical, plumbing, roof, sometimes geological inspections. There's like tons of different inspections that you can do, but also you look at the title report. So you make sure that the title on the property is clear. You look at insurability. So is the property insurable? Sometimes they're not, these days because of a location they're in or the condition of the property. So within the inspection contingency, there's a lot of sub sort of contingencies in there. Then there's, appraisal contingency. That's typically, the default in the contract for inspections is 17 days. The default in the contract for appraisal contingencies is 17 days. We typically shorten that, but that's basically a period of time where if the buyer has an appraisal contingency, they have the ability to bring someone in, appraise the value of the property. If it doesn't appraise at value, then they have the ability, that's an area where they can say, hey, I want to back out, or they can come back and renegotiate price. I can tell you on our listings, we have a really good batting average, and we don't have appraisal issues typically because we do a lot of upfront analysis. We provide comps, list of upgrades. We consolidate it into a really clean looking spreadsheet with a write-up. And then we also give the appraiser a lot of information on appreciation characteristics in the area. So we have a really good batting average when it comes to appraisals. Then the other big one would be loan. So if it's not a cash purchase, the default is 17 days for loan contingency. And so that's going to be a contingency that the buyer has that says if they can't get their loan approved under certain terms like interest rates and all that, they have the ability to back out. So typically, we usually say 10 days for inspections, depending on the property and condition. Sometimes they get a little longer, sometimes even a little shorter. And then we have appraisal that we typically put at sort of 12 days, sometimes 14. And then loan contingency, the default 17 days. A lot of times we try to shorten that to 12 or 14 days if it's not a cash purchase. So those are kind of the three main contingencies, and then there's some sub-contingencies underneath those. It's kind of a process that's wrought with lots of potential challenges. That's the devil's in the details, right? So when you start getting inspections done, sometimes buyers then will come back and do what's called a request for repair. And that's where they can say, hey, we've done all of our inspections and we would like to have the following things fixed, or we'd like a credit amount of a certain amount, or a combination of both. And so we then work through that. So now that's a sort of a new negotiation even after you agree on price and days of escrow and all that. So it's like a small negotiation within the overall escrow. And so all of this is important activities and steps that we manage and help you understand as we go through the process and manage that so that we keep these escrows on timeline and on pace. Right now there's about 37% of the escrows are falling out and canceling in Orange County. So really it's our job to kind of manage it tightly and keep people on timeline. If they are going to cancel, you want to know quickly so you can move on. But obviously the goal is to find the right buyer and to stay in escrow and to close it. So that's the topic on contingencies. We're here to help you with all your real estate needs. Reach out to us with questions. We're here all the time to help. Thanks.